welcome back to this really wonderfully exciting election. This is why we do election analysis and psephology. We live for elections like this. Actually, it takes me back maybe 30 years before half of India was born, when Vinod Dua and I used to do it on Doordarshan, and it used to last for 3 days. And the viewership was sky high. But you know why? Because in between our analysis, they would show movies. We thought it was us, but eventually we heard actually we used to watch the movies and then you used to come in and interfere with the whole bloody movie. Kya? But we used to be 3 days and 3 nights up non-stop. Those were amazing days, and here COVID has made this one of the slowest elections being counted in a long time. And what is even more exciting is, look at that, 122 to 113. It's so close. That's 9 seats difference. No, it's not 9 seats. It's 5 seats difference. How? 5 seats, one gains, 5 seats, the other loses, and one overtakes the other. If the MJB gains 5 from the NDA, it goes to 118, and the NDA goes down to 117. So it's 5 seats after all this time, and there's still about, I think, 40% of the votes to be counted. Lakhs and lakhs and lakhs, crores of votes to be counted still, and rounds to be still gone through. So please don't write anybody off at any time. But you know, a lot of people are saying that in fact earlier on, a wipeout, it's a walkover. I must say the BJP will be very happy that it has actually won a state after the 2019 elections. Yes, it did scrape through in Maharashtra too, but you know what happened after that. So it's not really come to power in any state since the 2019 elections. And at the moment, they'll be happy that they're doing that, because the other elections, they've really got badly beaten. But how badly and how well has the BJP done, and how badly has the RJD done and the MGB? Let's just have a look. In fact, if you look at Tejashwi, he is quite a hero of this election. He and his allies, that is of course the Mahagathbandhan, have taken on the Prime Minister and the Chief Minister 3 times running and given them a shock. Look at the kind of shock they've given. This is the vote figures. Let's not only focus on the seats. The NDA since 2019 is down 12%. That is an enormous swing. You could call that the Modi factor. In the Lok Sabha election, he generally gives a boost to his party of 12%. But look at that, the Tejashwi factor, plus 11.3 at the state level. This is what federalism is about. National parties begin to lose support when it comes to state elections. But still, minus 12 and plus 11.3 has not swung the seats. But just how do we get those figures? Just look at the actual data. In 2019, NDA had 50.3, now it's 38.3. That's 12%. And the MGB had almost half the NDA in 2019, 50 to 25. And now it's neck and neck, 37. That is the significance of this election. Now, of course, these with more votes counted, these figures may change in terms of decimals, but this is the story of this election. Tejashwi and the allies have not been wiped out. It is amazing. So we have 2 young heroes. One is Tejashwi for the Mahagathbandhan and the left, and you have Chirag Paswan, a hero for the BJP. And we'll come to why that later. Let's move on to a little more trends and details on what's happening. Now, 220, how is it very different from 2015? Very quickly look at this, because the alliances are all very different. So it's not really good to compare. The NDA, current NDA, with percentages then, they're doing worse than they did in 2015 by minus 5%, and the MGB, Mahagathbandhan, up 8% since 2015, not 5, 2015. Now, do remember alliances have changed, but it just gives you a general picture that the NDA is not doing well compared to 2019, terribly, -12, and even compared to 2015. Finally, we have lots of graphics, but I won't go into all 100 of them. We'll go into one more now. Now, elections after the Lok Sabha in 2019, the NDA does worse in Bihar this time than it did in Maharashtra. Now, few people realize that the swing here is worse than in Maharashtra. Just look at since 2019, what the situation has been. Maharashtra, it went down 8.7%, from 50.9 to 42.2. You look at Haryana, it went from 58 to 36, down 21%. The NDA really suffered after the 2019 election. Look at Jharkhand, 55 down to 33, down 22%. And then Delhi, the first after the Lok Sabha, 56 in the Lok Sabha election. They swept all the seats in Delhi, down to 40. The combined effect of no Modi in Delhi and the Kejriwal effect, -16. And look at Bihar, 50 to 38, -12.1. So Maharashtra -8.7 and Bihar -12.1. So this is even worse than Maharashtra. And you know what happened after all the negotiations in Maharashtra. So the average swing away from the NDA since 2019 has been 16.9. You know, these figures are, we normally see swings of 3%, 2%. 16 is huge, and it is. All these reflect the growing feeling of federalism and people in states wanting power to themselves. There's no negativity about Modi at the center, be very clear. In fact, he pumps it up 12%. But when it comes to the state, they want power in their own hands. Vasu, it's amazing how state elections are so different from Lok Sabha elections now.
Absolutely. It's a phenomenon that when you actually go out on the ground and report on these elections, you'll hear over and over again. When we were covering the Delhi elections, it was Upar Modi, Niche Kejriwal. When you're covering the Bihar elections, it's Upar Modi, Niche Nitish, or Niche Tejasvi. So it's split ticket voting.
Yeah, and it's very clear. We've got
and just one quick point, Prannoy.
Split ticket voting.
One quick additional point to that.
Go ahead.
In addition in addition to the Prime Minister factor, the fact also is that the BJP in some of these states is vulnerable because they don't have strong state leaders. That's something they'll need to think about.
Right.
They need to cultivate strong state leaders in states like Delhi, Jharkhand, Bihar again. Who's really their face? Sushil Modi is there, but is he a face? Is he enough to turn an election? That's something for the party to consider.
Giving him a chance. They do have a strong face in Madhya Pradesh. Shivraj Chauhan and somewhat of a strong face in Karnataka. But you're right. Generally, very weak state leaders. You're right. So they have to go into coalitions. But it's amazing, the -12%. Is Dorab there? He's not yet come yet. Okay. But we're really, you know, I don't know how long we're going to be here till tomorrow morning, Vasu, because what's it now? 121.
114.
To 114. 7. 4 seats change hands.
And it's all over.
My God.
This is, Prannoy.
It's not 7 seats, it's 4 seats.
4 seats.
Let's go across to Manish, because we just heard that Nitish Kumar has gone in to meet Sushil Modi. Can you bring us up to date, Manish?
Yes, Sushil Modi, accompanied by Bhupendra Yadav, who is in charge of Bihar. Right now, they are inside CM's residence and meeting Nitish Kumar for almost for last 15 minutes, and this meeting is going on, and they are going to be joined by some other leaders from JDU also, because nobody knows where this election is going to be, you know, who is going to get the majority numbers. Although both the camps are sounding very confident, they are quoting that we are getting, our war room is getting direct, you know, numbers from our candidates, and RJD is sounding very upbeat that they will be able to cross 120, 122. But at the same time, NDA is saying that come what may, we are going to form the government Nitish Kumar will be the chief minister. But it's, you know, the number, as you said, that Chirag Paswan, he destroyed JDU, but he also ensured that BJP does very well. And the number, the gap between BJP and JDU is something which is not going to be, is going to really disappoint Nitish Kumar. And knowing fully well Nitish Kumar, one can say that, he will think twice before once again taking over the, as chief minister. Although he would not like to, relinquish the office, but at the same time, it is going to be hugely embarrassing for him now.
But Manish, sorry, Vasu, just one more thing. Does Nitish Kumar, has he, of course, he must have realized, I don't know if you've talked to him, that he has been slightly stabbed in the back because of the LJP and Chirag Paswan. His popularity clearly hasn't gone down, because where he added his votes to the BJP votes, the NDA has done very well. But in his area, he's gone down in seats because of, 3-4% vote cutting. In fact, the LJP's got 6% of the vote in half the constituency. 6% overall. So really, very, very roughly, we look at the exact figures, they're around 12%. That's a lot. And if they're taking, I think Vasu made this important point earlier, is all that 12% or 6% coming from Nitish? Most people say they are, because the BJP made very clear that he was, not to be attacked, and he attacked Nitish. So he would have taken some votes from there. So overall, you're right. Now the margin is 5. That's 3 seats changing hands. And my God,
this is more, Pranoy.
Sorry, go ahead.
This is more exciting than the IPL finals which are on right now. Tejasvi.
Oh, are they on? I think I'll go and watch IPL. Yeah.
Tejasvi has taken it to a super over. Tejasvi cricketer, by the way, taking it to a super over.
Yeah. So, right. This is really super over stuff. Oh, wow. I must say. So, Dora, while you were away from home, we were just showing that the swing away from the NDA since 2019 is 12%. And the MJB has gone up by 11.3. That is like the NDA doing worse than they did in Maharashtra. It really is very serious. Is that purely the Modi effect? Is it the desire for nationalism and the local parties? Is it a lack of BJP leader in Bihar? What are the factors that go into this huge swing away from the NDA, from a Lok Sabha to a state?
I think it's mainly the absence of Mr. Modi as chief minister. Mr. Modi's prime minister,
right.
He's there. The locals want a leader. He does make a difference, as we know that. But the question is, the difference is nowhere near as significant as when the two elections go together, when people don't split tickets often. They vote straight, one ticket down, same party. I think what's also happening this time, I don't know whether the Chirag Paswan issue, though he may not have many votes, introduced a dissonance which affects the ability of Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi pushes the party up, others pull it down. Now, I think what's happened is that Chirag Paswan's departure and all the stuff surrounding it, the stuff you hear surrounding it, has helped to push the lead down to much lower level, 11.3. I mean, that's a pretty bad performance, I must say. 12% down is a lot. I mean, it's much more than Maharashtra, which is 9% down. And Maharashtra is also two-party system.
One more thing I'll tell you.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I just want you to comment on this. The level of uncertainty in who's going to win this election. Apart from, first of all, RJD Tejasvi is above now the BJP in number of seats. Forget that. Look at that, 119 to 116, 3 seats. And so we said, let's look at the top 20 seats with less than 1,000 votes. Top 20. And you won't believe it. Out of the top 20 seats with less than 1,000 vote margin, 10 are where the MGB is leading and 10 are where the NDA is leading. It's literally that close. Now look at these. These are seats where the Congress in the first is leading by 33, RJD by 193. And it keeps going, 291, 439, 455. In fact, forget 1,000. This is under 550. 10 seats which the MGP is leading by a narrow margin. They could lose any of these. And if we switch to where the 10,000 vote lead by the NDA, look at that. Siwan, 37. Begusarai, 54 lead margin. Of course, we don't know how much of all this has been counted, but still, these are seats that can change hands anytime. And it's remarkable that both of them, under 550 vote margin, they're 10 on each side. You know, it doesn't get closer and more uncertain than this. Dorab?
You know, there are about 600 votes on average in a machine. And this is so many, less than one machine. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's a much more difficult bet than the bet on the one you've taken this morning on the cricket match.
Can we bring
I think I'll go and watch the cricket.
Can we bring in someone? Can we bring in someone who's been a very interesting player in this election, Pranoy? So we're talking about Chirag Paswan as someone who is eating into Nitish's vote. There was somebody who's actually boosting the Mahagathbandhan's vote. That's the CPML. CPIML has has been the dark horse in this election. They fought this election for the first time to this extent along with the mainstream parties, and they at the moment are leading in 11 out of 18 seats, one of the best strike rates we've seen. And we actually have Dipankar Bhattacharya, General Secretary CPIML, here is with us. Also, may I just use this opportunity to quickly introduce the rest of the panel. We have PKD Nambiar, political analyst, supports BJP, Mayank Sinha, spokesperson, RJD, Aarti Jairath, of course, and Aman Pawar, spokesperson, Congress. Dipankar Bhattacharya, this is quite a remarkable achievement by the CPML. Explain this. How did this happen?
I think we are still hoping that our tally should go up to 13 or 14 seats. Counting is not over yet. And I think this was a very unique kind of an election. It was looking like an upsurge of the youth. It was more like a people's movement, which we are more habituated with. So I was actually hoping that the Mahagathbandhan performance will be even better. I think the JDU has performed remarkably well. I was hoping that the Congress would be sort of getting equal or if not more seats than the JDU. And that's where probably things have become a little difficult. The JDU sort of doing better and the Congress underperforming.
Yeah.
But I'm still hopeful that this is going to be a Mahagathbandhan victory, clear majority for the Mahagathbandhan.
It's clear that this kind of a victory in your debut actually can only come after years of work in that area. Tell us a little bit about the work you've been doing and how many years you've been at it on the ground and have not contested, and why you decided to change now. So your history and why the change.
See, ours is actually a 50-year-old movement. Our party was formed in 1969. And ever since the inception of the party in West Bengal, our work also began in Bihar. So we have 50 years of work behind us. And as far as elections are concerned, we have been contesting elections for last 30 years or so. And in fact, we have come up the hard way. We are a party that represents the most oppressed, most marginalized, deprived people who didn't even have the voting right way back in the 80s. So if you look at this whole agenda of social justice, it was our party which actually raised these whole issues of dignity for the poor, empowerment of Dalits, and basic human rights for the oppressed people. And talking about this election, I will say that there have been 2 or 3 factors which have worked in our favor, or for that matter in favor of the Mahagathbandhan. Number one was when Nitish Kumar betrayed the 2015 mandate, when he crossed over to the NDA in 2017. I think he committed a crime which is unpardonable in democracy. He should have actually sought a fresh mandate from the people. So it didn't go down well with the people of Bihar. Number two, I think if you look at the campaign charter of the Mahagathbandhan, you will find that this is basically a compilation of popular demands of ongoing struggles. Equal pay for equal work for the better, and then these contract system workers, making them their jobs permanent, recognition and remuneration for women scheme workers, for farmers' rights, so on and so forth. So these are struggles which have been going on for several years now. And we are a leading champion of all these struggles. And the government has been trying to suppress these struggles through sheer repression. And number three, which has actually sealed probably been the nail in the coffin and amplified the anger of the people, was the lockdown experience for the people of Bihar. The NDA always talks in terms of a double engine government, the central government pulling one engine and the state government pulling another. But during the lockdown, the people found that both the engines were driverless. There were no drivers to pull those engines along. So the people were abandoned. They felt completely left in the lurch, completely humiliated by the state. And that's where our people were on the ground. They stood by the people, the migrant workers, the poor who were starving, who needed ration and all. So I think that helped us in a big way. And it's true that Indian elections have become increasingly unequal in recent years, given the kind of grip, the control that the BJP and the entire central government exercises. It's not like America where you have the power to stop the president speaking midway. So 90% of the media, all our institutions, it's very much skewed in favor of the ruling the government in the center.
Right.
So in that kind of an unequal battle, for the people to come up and assert and shape the agenda of the elections, sure. I think regardless of the final outcome, I think it's a big victory for the people of Bihar. It's a big victory and very reassuring for the future of India's democracy.
But Dipankar Da, just a couple of things. Firstly, that's the background. But if you look at what has specifically happened in this election, and maybe we even have a graphic or a map we can put up. So most of your seats are coming from that Bhojpur area. Am I right? It's the Bhojpur Magad area.
Right. Not just the Bhojpur area. Yeah, Shahabad and Magad. So these were the seats which went in the first phase of elections. We had 8 candidates, and I guess we are winning 7. And very unfortunate
these are,
that probably we are losing out in Ara.
So these are, to put it in context, these are very deeply feudal areas where you have upper caste landlords and you have typically Dalit labor, landless labor.
These were feudal. These were very feudal areas, and over the last 20 years or so, I think now the feudal forces have been weakened, but there are still strong remnants.
So that's
and feudalism, especially in terms of the mindset, it's very, it's very difficult. They can't overcome the feudal mindset, even if the feudal strength, the stranglehold becomes weaker. So culturally, in terms of attitudes, I guess the feudal mindset is still very much at work.
So that's why
then the communal thing is also very important. So I guess we have been very consistently anti-feudal, anti-patriarchal, and anti-communal in our
one thing very interesting, Prannoy. One thing very interesting is that Dipankar Da, that ML was not that long ago. You were underground. It was armed struggle. Naxal movement. Now you're overground.
That was, we came overground in 1992. So it's quite 3 decades.
Sure. But even now, that's not prevented the BJP. The Prime Minister actually took a pot shot. He said, urban Naxals, Tukde gang.
Yes.
That was a barb aimed at you.
I'm really very happy. Yeah, I'm very happy. It was all their propaganda against us. The people, of course, didn't take it seriously. But it did achieve something for us because it aroused the curiosity of the people. Nationally, people wanted to know how is it that the biggest party of the world is, somehow finding it very uncomfortable to deal with a party with only 3 MLAs in Bihar. So in the unequal battle, it made for a very interesting kind of duel. And that's why I thanked J.P. Nadda and Bhupendra Chaube. they turned out to be our star campaigners in this election.
Bhupendra Yadav, you mean?
You know, when you say you are anti-feudal, anti-communal, anti-corruption, in anybody's book, that makes you pro-national, not anti-national, by the way, if you have these three qualities. But you actually, you said that, you know, you started 50 years ago in Bengal. Yes, I'm from Calcutta, and I remember when it started, and I remember the whole movement. But I just want to know a little more detail about your movement in Bihar, on the ground, what you're doing every day, and what made you join an alliance this time. Quite an ideological shift, would you say? So first, just describe to us what you do. We will one day come and would love to come and visit your work and see what you're doing. And then, after you describe that, what made you switch and join the MJB, Mahagathbandhan? Sorry.
No, I think that's because of the present situation. Because today, the BJP is the single biggest threat to India's democracy, constitution, rule of law, any civilized discourse in the country. So I think any party which is serious about democracy, which is serious about civilizational values and rule of law, cannot but be opposed to the BJP. So stopping the BJP, stopping the NDA is the #1 goal for us. So that explains why we joined hands with this MGB. It's not just to win a few seats. We wanted that our vote should count for the maximum possible impact that we can generate. So even if we had contested independently, maybe we would have still won half a dozen or maybe even 10 seats. So that was not the main concern for us. The basic point of departure was we wanted our votes, our work, our influence, our organization to produce the maximal possible.
Right. Okay, we'll just come back to that in a second.
Okay, we've lost the line for a second. Okay.
In fact, Pranoy, Dipankar Da told me something. He was more direct answer to your question about what happened. 2019 election, CPML, actually, that's the first time they backed 4 candidates of the Mahagathbandhan in Bihar, 3 of whom, one RJD, one Congress, one CPML, polled more than 4 lakh votes. One in Ara and Bhojpur, rural Patna and Katihar in the east, Tariq Anwar's constituency. That was the first indication that the Mahagathbandhan got that these guys can bring something quite substantial to the table, and I think it just built from there.
Right. It's been remarkable, yes. That's a very interesting story, that entire, and the pressure and the repression and the what they've had to face from any party actually. You need real courage to do what they do.
Yeah.
I must say.
The other interesting twist in the story, Pranoy, could be Owaisi. Yeah. Just as you found that Chirag Paswan was a vote cutter for the JDU, Owaisi has been a vote cutter for the Mahagathbandhan. He's ended up with 5.
Absolutely right.
In a dead heat.
My gosh.
In a dead heat. Where would he go? I mean, it's very difficult for him to go with the. It's tough for him to go with the NDA. Could he bolster up the MGB's numbers?
Yeah, that's a very good point you raise actually. And I think most of it is in the east where the Muslim population is 33%.
Yes.
And actually the MGB was hoping to do very well, but exact parallel, Chirag Paswan and Owaisi.
Same thing.
Amazing.
So,
welcome to the arithmetic of elections.
So, 24 seats Owaisi has fought in the east in Araria, Kishanganj, Purnia. These are the high Muslim density districts. He's actually already got a sitting MLA in Kishanganj, which he won in a by-election, and he's managed to lead in 5 seats. So, he could again be a potential kingmaker. But
yes, very true, very true.
So, if we can just Pranoy, also open it up to panel. We've got Mayank Sinha, as I mentioned, PKD Nambiar, Aarti Jairath, Aman Pawar. Aarti Jairath, sorry to have kept you, but it is a cliffhanger, Aarti Jairath.
I know. It's getting quite exciting. And I mean, are we going to have to stay awake the whole night to, get a final result here? Because it's the way it's swinging. And with these narrow differences, 57 votes in one constituency. I mean, that could swing any way, you know. So, it's really fascinating. And I think what is really remarkable about this election is that people had virtually written off the opposition. You know, a few months ago, we were talking about an easy win for the NDA. Nitish would be back as chief minister. And, the opposition didn't have a face. It didn't have a leader. You know, that's what we all thought. And look at it. Today, we're sitting on, watching this cliffhanger. And we don't know. And it's quite possible that this so-called leaderless opposition would have pulled off the biggest upset in Indian elections in a long time. And that's really thanks to this energetic campaign by Tejaswi, who has shown remarkable political acumen for somebody so inexperienced and so young. To have focused his attack on one person, the Chief Minister, Nitish Kumar, and to have made this a single issue election, talking about jobs. And actually it's
and he's the largest single party right now, marginally,
yes,
but just about.
This issue of jobs encompasses the entire migrant crisis. Because why is there so much migration out of Bihar? Because there's no employment in Bihar, right? So I think he really struck a chord with people, and that changed.
Actually, Aarti, one thing is to look at those seats, where it's a marginally 76 to 74, but we're just looking at the votes also. Look at the top four parties, their votes, which are always very different from seats. That's the conversion of votes to seats in the first past the post system. So yes, we have got a list of the top four parties in this election and their votes so far. Of course, again, this will change a little bit over time. But if you look at them, top four parties in Bihar today, number one, RJD, 23.4% of the vote. And number two, BJP, 19.7%. That's just over 3.5% less, which is a lot. Third, JDU at 16.1 after vote cutting. And fourth, the Congress at 9.4. But look at that, RJD, that vote percentage shows the popularity. And maybe it doesn't convert that much into seats because of the way our system works. We had to take the British system instead of changing it. There's so much we could have done better. But anyway, that's history. So the change from 2019, plus 8% for RJD, -4 and -6 for BJP and JDU, and +2 for Congress. But look at that, +8 and 23.4. Vasu, that really is a sign of an amazing campaign, right?
Incredible campaign. I mean, 253 rallies, that's virtually a rally in every single assembly constituency. And just, again, on message, didn't attack Mr. Modi, didn't bring up his father, just did jobs. And he had this other slogan, Padhai, Sichai, Kamai, Mehengai. He just went on repeating this. Education, inflation, and price rise, and irrigation. So rally after rally, it really was.
And we didn't go
remarkable.
This time, but the last time when we covered the Bihar elections, we interviewed him, we spent time on the campaign trail, we were on the stage with him and watched the crowd reaction. We saw a spark there. He is the future. And, he's about the average age of about what 50% of Indians are, unlike Biden or somebody else I know.
Well, Bihar is the youngest state in India. It has a median age of 20, and I think 58% of the population is under 25. So, Tejaswi, has...
So Tejaswi is a bit of an old man.
Yeah, a bit of an old man, absolutely. But of the choice, of the platter, I mean, he has the appeal. He's the person who appeals the most to young people. And, just look how he did his rallies. I remember Vasu, you saying that he did these really short, sort of
10 minutes
rallies.
10 minutes.
That's right. No long rambling speeches, no oratory, no flourishes. Because young people, you know, their concentration span or their attitude is so dictated by social media and television that I
so
think oratorial flourishes of Lalu would not have worked.
I actually call them I call them viral.
No, Lalu was a great speaker. He would hold your attention. He was a great speaker.
I call them viral video rallies. These are viral video rallies. These are rallies for Indian millennials. These are rallies for millennials. Just one other interesting quick point, very quick point, Prannoy, on Tejashwi. That in addition to the jobs message, the challenge for Tejashwi was to shake off this image of a Muslim Yadav party, MY party. And I think that's been quite interesting to see how he went on saying, I'm an A to Z party. I'm not MY. It's everybody. And then he said, Muslim Yadav MY is actually Mazdoor Yuva, labor and youth. And this was reflected in the ticket distribution as well. So giving seats to upper caste, more seats to upper caste, more seats to EBCs. So there was social engineering and there was being on message with jobs.
Right.
Absolutely.
Very good point.
I mean, this is I think a template really that other young aspiring leaders should look at, whether Tejashwi actually pulls off a victory or not. I mean, the fact is that, he used a different narrative to the older generation. I mean, Nitish Kumar, Lalu Yadav, they were all, part of this Mandal era. And so, their narrative, their discourse was about social justice. Now, this Tejashwi, because he comes from a new generation, a younger generation, he's moved beyond social justice. Social justice has been done, because vandalization has happened. But now you need what he calls economic justice. And that's where this whole thing of jobs, employment, migration, everything sort of dovetails into that. And, I mean, it's an aspirational, slogan rather than the dole that the sort of patronage that the Congress, believes in.
There's an important update. We've got some first comments from the RJD senior leader Manoj Jha, who seems to be saying that there is some delay in the counting which looks a bit fishy to the RJD. Let's just listen into that.
नौर, सराय रंजन, कटिहार, कुड़हनी, बोचहा, ये तमाम जो जगह है, खगड़िया, ये तमाम जगह है जहां या तो डिले किया जा रहा है, सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दिया जा रहा है, टाल मटोल किया जा रहा है। तो मैं पुनः कहूंगा कि माननीय नीतीश जी, आप मुख्यमंत्री अब चंद घंटों के लिए हैं और कलंक मत ढोइए अपने सर पे। और आग्रह करूंगा प्रशासन के लोगों को, जहां तक मेरी बात जाती है, आप निष्पक्ष तरीके से अपना काम करिए। जीत हमारी ही होगी, आप कितनों विलंब कर लो। बस मैं आग्रह करूंगा कि लोग तमाम प्रशासन के लोग इस बात को समझें और मुख्यमंत्री जी भी समझें, उनके डिप्टी साहब भी समझें। बस इतना ही हमें कहना था।
Sorry, not great audio on that, but broadly he seems to be saying that the counting of the votes should be done in a nishpaksh or independent way. So some questions RJD has been raising about whether this is happening in an entirely kosher manner.
Right.
So
it's not the last we've heard of that.
Yes. So if we can also just go across to the rest of the panel. So Aman Pawar is here with us of the Congress. Aman Pawar, in the many what ifs, when you get an election this close, there will always be many what ifs. What if A or B? What if the Congress had not fought 70 seats or had a better strike rate? Your strike rate is around 30%. It's amongst the worst strike rates of the major parties.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect, and I must correct you with facts.
Okay,
and the facts
please
are
correct
that
me.
On these 70 seats,
Yes.
where the Congress is contesting at this point of time,
Yes.
the BJP JDU had 165 of these 70 seats in 2010. So the strike rate must be compared to what was BJP JDU strike rate. Now in 2015, if you talk about the strike rate of BJP in these 70 seats in 2015 was 24. So 95% was the strike rate of JDU BJP on these 70 seats. before the Congress was contesting, in the previous election. So now the strike rate of the Congress must be compared to what was the strike rate of the NDA on these seats.
Okay,
and
this
so
is,
I think this is a very
arithmetical jugglery, which I don't know, it's gone over my head. I don't know if Pranoy and Dorab. I was just on a simple point that you're fighting 70 seats, you're leading only in 20. That's it. That's how strike rates are calculated.
That's what I'm what I'm trying to explain. The point I'm making, Srinivasan, that on these 70 seats, the strike rate of the NDA was 95%, and they have been traditionally the NDA seats. And this time, the Congress has made a huge dent, has withheld the NDA from capturing these seats. So this is the performance benchmark that we should evaluate when we are talking about these seats.
Okay, I defer to that because I couldn't. But anyway, we just have to take a short break. I'm told we'll just take a short break and come back in a second. Welcome back. Photo finish in Battleground Bihar. It's not finished actually, but it's heading for a photo finish. We have with us of the RJD Mayank Sinha, spokesperson, General Secretary. Mayank Sinha, we just heard Manoj Jha there. What exactly is the RJD suggesting? Are you raising any questions about the manner in which votes are being counted? Mayank Sinha?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me, Mayank Sinha?
Hello. Are you listening my voice? Are you listening my voice?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Are you? एक्चुअली जो मनोज झा जी ने बताया है
जी,
वो बिल्कुल सही बताया है, और वोटों की जो गिनती हो रही है बहुत ही स्लो हो रही है। कहीं ना कहीं ये निष्पक्षता के ऊपर सवाल खड़ा हो रहा है, क्योंकि जल्द से जल्द वोटों की गिनती होती और जो प्रमाण पत्र जो कैंडिडेट जीत रहे हैं उनको जल्द से जल्द दे देने का काम करना चाहिए। तो ये सवाल बिल्कुल जेन्युइन है, बिल्कुल जो उन्होंने बोला है वो सच्चाई और तर्क पर बोला है, क्योंकि अभी तक आपको देखिए कि परिणाम जो है कि पूर्ण रूप से आए नहीं है, रुझान ही चल रहा है कि वो आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, ये आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो है नीतीश कुमार के सरकार के ऊपर प्रश्न चिन्ह लग रहा है कि उन्होंने जो है कि इलेक्शन के जो काउंटिंग है उसमें कहीं ना कोई बड़ा जो है कि
एक सेकेंड मयंक जी,
गोलमाल किया जा सके।
मयंक जी, इलेक्शन कमीशन और उसके प्रोसीजर्स पे क्या ऐसा सवाल उठाना सही है कोई बिना सबूत के? बिकॉज काउंटिंग स्लो हो सकता है। इसी ने कहा है इस बार ज्यादा राउंड्स हैं कोविड की वजह से, इसीलिए काउंटिंग स्लो है।
नहीं, आपने पूछा कि मनोज झा जी ने जो बोला है उसके बारे में आप क्या बता रहे हैं, तो मैंने यही बात आपसे बताया कि हो सकता है कि इसे जो लेट किया जा रहा है कहीं ना कहीं कोई पीछे से कॉन्स्पिरेसी की जा रही हो। मैंने ये नहीं कहा है कि हमारे पास सबूत है। साजिश तो सरकार में वो लोग हैं
जी,
उनके पास प्रशासन है, वो हर तरह से सक्षम है, भारत सरकार में उनके बड़े पार्टी सहयोग में है, तो ये हर तरीके से वो सक्षम है। थोड़ा बहुत फेरबदल अगर कर देंगे तो पता चलेगा क्या। ये तो मार्जिनल डिफरेंस की बात है। आप बता रहे हैं कहीं 500 वोट से पीछे चल रहे हैं, कहीं 200 वोट से पीछे चल रहे हैं, कहीं 100 वोट है, सीटों की लड़ाई है जो 1000 से कम मार्जिन पे लड़ाई है। तो कहीं ना कहीं ये जो टैक्टिक्स है डिले करने को, तो इस पर एक क्वेश्चन मार्क किया जा रहा है।
Did you learn this from watching Donald Trump?
इलेक्शन कमीशन के ऊपर कोई प्रश्न मैं खड़ा नहीं कर रहा हूँ, कोई उनके ऊपर कोई ये चीज नहीं खड़ा कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन जो मनोज झा जी ने बोला कहीं
अच्छा एक सेकंड,
कोई सच्चाई
मयंक जी प्रणॉय कुछ कहना चाहते हैं? एक सेकंड मनोज जी, प्रणॉय।
No, I've asked my question, it's fine.
वो पूछ रहे हैं कि ये क्या आप डोनाल्ड ट्रंप से सीखे हैं? डोनाल्ड ट्रंप वो भी सवाल उठा रहे हैं ना वहां के चुनाव पे, इसीलिए।
मैं इतना बड़ा आदमी नहीं हूँ कि डोनाल्ड ट्रंप से ये सब चीजें सीखूंगा।
नहीं ऐसे ही मजाक में पूछ रहे हैं, ऐसी कोई गंभीर बात नहीं है।
नहीं देखिए हमारे बड़े नेता है मनोज झा जी, और जो बात कह रहे हैं वो कहीं ना कहीं तर्क होगा तभी वो बात कह रहे हैं। मैं उनकी बात को कैसे काट सकता हूँ? कहीं कोई तर्क होगा ना।
ओके ओके,
तो इसलिए वो तर्क गंभीरता से उन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट किया इलेक्शन।
अच्छा अच्छा, एक सेकंड मयंक जी, एक सेकंड,
दोराब
मयंक जी, दोराब प्लीज, मयंक जी।
Every party has observers at the counting station, so you are entitled to observe. If you find any mistakes, you can report them to the electoral officer.
Yes.
It is not that they're counted only in the front of some parties. Every contesting party has the right to appoint an observer while the count is taking place. You know, you may have other problems, but let's not get into this. This is really becoming like Donald Trump.
Yeah, but PKD.
But are these observers 6 feet away or 12 feet away?
14 feet away, actually.
Oh, that won't do. Go to court. No, but what is interesting actually, which goes against a little bit of what this complaint is, when we said let's look at the seats which are under 1,000 votes, obviously those are ones that are being counted rather slowly. 10 are Mahagathbandhan and 10, just turned out 10 are Mahagathbandhan and 10 are NDA. So like they're counting both sides slowly. So I don't know who should be suing who.
No, but Pranay, it's worth counting seats that are that close because small errors can occur.
Yeah, here you are.
So I have no problem.
Just look at that.
Yeah, I have no problem if these are recounted at the end of the 1,000 votes, 2,000 votes. It makes sense. But not
count it slow and do it right.
That is 200 votes. Some mistake could have occurred.
That is such a fascinating graphic that it's just 10 Mahagathbandhan and 10 NDA.
It's just amazing.
It's
548,
really interesting.
and if you go on to the NDA margins, narrow margins, this is the Mahagathbandhan ones.
Yeah.
And if we switch over to, here's the NDA ones, look at that. Almost identical, 37 seats.
Noticing that in the list of the Mahagathbandhan, most of the seats are RJD.
Yeah.
In this one, most of the seats are JDU, I think.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Interesting, yeah. By the way, they keep changing. When we looked at this an hour ago, a lot, I think 2 out of the 10 in the Mahagathbandhan was CPML. So these are being updated live.
Yes, I can imagine.
Okay.
Yes.
This is automated. This is not a static. It's a dynamic graphic. You know, we just
keep changing, and you'll find these constituencies and parties changing.
Okay, sorry, we just have to go. We've not had a chance to go to PKD Nambiar, BJP supporter. PKD Nambiar?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you also on the cliff edge? The BJP was all set to do a celebration. BJP office was getting decked up. Then they also said, hold on, not over yet.
So one thing I'll tell you, whether the NDA comes into power or not, I think it's a jubilant thing for the BJP for sure, because it turned around the whole expectation which has been happening. I mean, which has been put forward to the people from the last couple of weeks, and there was a kind of media hype against the NDA which has been created, and Tejasvi has been made as a hero by the media. Whether I'm sure that an young man has really put forward a very good fight on the ground. There is no doubt. But I think this election is to be looked at from a different perspective, because both all of you are veterans, and this is an election without Lalu, Paswan, and the old guards are not there. So this is a new election and for a new Bihar. Except Nitish Kumar and Sushil Modi, you won't find that old guards. So this election is a new game. Even with this new vigor and new kind of an election, if the NDA with the fourth term chief minister is able to pull off to this level, to a tight fight, I think we all should compliment both NDA, BJP and Nitish Kumar. Whether it is a less margin or is it a tight fight, they may lose at the last minute, nobody knows, as you people have been telling. But then I think it's a time to compliment a set of people who have been working in the field or governing a state for the last 15 years and still very, very relevant and being able to put a strong fight. This is one. And in between, I actually wanted to, because
Very good point, I think.
Listening to all of you, I wanted to, Dr. Pranay, I wanted to just actually one thing I wanted to, because I've been in a couple of channels since morning. I really wanted to compliment NDTV and all of you. This is the only place where I have been able to listen to a discussion from the last few hours, and there is no pressure here. So I think I wanted to compliment you. Even in the election time, you were able to
but,
do.
It didn't put you to sleep. You're not feeling sleepy.
So that's the reason I have not been able to sleep. But one particular thing, Srinivasan, if I can add, there is a narrative which this election has given a different narrative. This is an election wherein most of the election, I have been as a political consultant for the last couple of years, I also go just like maybe not openly like the journalists like.
Yes.
But something I have realized, this is an election where the caste, religion, etc. have been discussed much less. This is an election where the voters have been given more important, development has become an issue of discussion. I think we should all uphold.
I wish that was true, but I have to say it since you brought it up. The Prime Minister, Jai Shri Ram, those who don't say Jai Shri Ram, teach them a lesson. Hold on, let me finish now. Ram Mandir, the people who oppose it, Tukde Tukde, urban Naxals.
These are
Yogi
all
Adityanath. So there's that.
Srinivasan, these are all realities. Saying Jai Shri Ram in India is, if it is a crime, if it is dividing, I think we are living in a fool's paradise. I don't think a Prime Minister of India can't go to the Pakistan.
I'm just saying, you said religion was not brought up. You said all of these things were not brought up. I'm saying they were brought up. So that's my only limited point.
People are voted this time in this election. If you really look at all those elections, and I was really looking at the facts Prannoy has presented in the beginning, comparing with the 2015 and 2019 and etc. If you really look at it, this election, even Tejasvi has played mostly the employment, all of those kind of stuff, which is very, very unusual in a Bihar and a UP elections, and which I'm sure that you people are much more experienced than me.
Yeah.
But this takeaway of this election is that NDA is relevant. Even Nitish Kumar, whether you say that he has got less seats this time, they are being, after 15 years or so, if they are relevant and we are discussing, that is absolutely a great thing. Another thing is that we are also...
Mr. Nambiar,
Prannoy.
It's very kind of you to say that we are more experienced rather than to say we are much older than you. That's very kind of you. It's a good way to... But I do want to ask you, you made a very good point at the beginning. The way, compared to expectations, BJP is doing well. Now, and you're right, the media did hype that up, that there's a sudden wave in the last month, and then the exit polls came and expectations of the BJP losing. Compared to expectations, you've done well. But in reality, I would be a bit worried if I was a BJP person. Down 12% in a matter of a year in this state, losing so much ground in various areas. And finally, I have to ask you this question. I'm going to ask almost every BJP supporter that comes on. How much did you help Chirag Paswan? And how much was that, quietly done, and how happy are you? Is he your hero of this election? Let me show you the figures. If we can bring up the graphic once again, and we've done this before in the afternoon. If we have a quick look, I'd like you to see this, that Mr. Chirag Paswan cut into Nitish Kumar's votes considerably. No, not this one, not this graphic. It's coming next. That was the one we're talking about, the minus 12%. Which is reality here. Impact of LJP on cutting JDU votes. The JDU is around about 43 now, down 28. That's because LJP has been cutting into JDU's vote. If there was no LJP and if there was no support of LJP, hidden support, JDU today would have been the largest single party, 77 seats, up 6 from last time. So it's a difference of 34 seats that LJP is, the impact of LJP. So you've got another young hero, Chirag Paswan. And is he a hero of the BJP? What are you going to do to him? How are you going to reward him?
This election it's my take for that is he was trying to be relevant in this election to say that, of course, these are all again family parties, whether it is Tejasvi or Paswan, these are all family parties. So he was actually working for his existence to show that he's relevant in the Bihar politics. He has definitely damaged the JDU vote. If I go the graphics what you have shown, definitely. But I don't think that any big impact. In fact, rather he will be a big loser in the coming time, because being a spoilsport in the politics will not work for a longer time. If you really look at it, most of the places, in whether it is from Kerala to Bengal to even in UP.
Interesting. Interesting you should say that. Yeah.
They may get into, like in the CPIML, the ML, Mr. Dipandar was also saying that they were all relevant in certain belts. But on a large state like Bihar, the impact of LJP only in few pockets. So Nitish Kumar, being a leader from the last 15 years of governing, he could have been having it elsewhere also. So I don't think any relevant for Mr. Paswan anymore in this. Even for NDA, he may not be a great asset. Rather, maybe he may be a baggage the way he has performed in this election. That's
right.
It's no doubt too. He is actually a baggage.
Very nice to hear that phrase. Being a spoil sport in politics never pays off in the long run. Never heard that before.
You can have
maybe
a
you're
lot
right,
of examples all across everywhere. If I may take another second, Pranoy, because you had a very long chat with Dipankar of CPIML, and we were all talking about what the communism have been provided. You are from Calcutta, that's from the West Bengal, where the communists have ruled this country the maximum, and I'm from Kerala, I hail from Kerala, and another place where the communists fought. If you really look at both these places, what communism had given to all of us is that from Kerala, every house, there is a migrant labor to the Gulf. The only difference, they are uneducated people. If the communism has done anything good to this country or to the Kerala, all of them should have been getting an employment there. Most of the Bengalis are the migrant laborers to rest of the country. If communism after 40 years of rule have done anything good to the country. And I think, I don't want you to go
but
and
look at... I can take anything you say, but if you say in Kerala, if the BJP is criticizing the communists in Kerala, that's a bit tough, because the people of Kerala have not accepted the BJP. But anyway, I think that's a bigger picture.
Yes.
Let's get back to Bihar. But very interesting to hear your point of view, and very articulate. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have Pranoy. We've got Yogendra Yadav is with us. Fantastic to have him again. And KC Tyagi.
Wonderful to have you.
KC Tyagi of the JDU also joining us. Yogendra Yadav, what do you think is, what do you make of it? From when we spoke in the afternoon, in the morning, what do you make of where we are now? It's so close.
The one point we underlined throughout the morning session was, it's not over yet. Things can change.
Yes,
so please
I remember you saying that.
And that warning has held us. I mean, all of us said that in different ways. So that has stood us in good stead. To my mind, we have an outcome. We should have an outcome very soon. We do not have a mandate at all. The outcome is somewhat uncertain. It is also uncertain because while we are reporting 243 trends, only 50 have been declared. So 183 seats still have to be decided. Margins are small. And the Madhya Pradesh story could easily be repeated. And if the BJP, if the NDA goes down even by 3 or 4 seats, everything could change. Because the other thing we need to remember is BJP has virtually no room outside the NDA. Because other than NDA and Mahagathbandhan, you only have MIM, which has 5 seats, which can do anything, which may do anything underhand, but will certainly not ally with the BJP openly. And after that, you have the BSP and one independent. There is no other room for maneuver for NDA. So at this stage, we cannot rule out to the possibility that Mahagathbandhan may actually form the government. Be as it may, whatever the outcome, the important thing is that we do not have a mandate. It would be wrong to say that NDA, even if they form the government, to say that they had a mandate. Mr. Nitish Kumar has clearly been...
Yogendra, I'm going to do a terrible thing, because I respect your views so much, I'm going to go through about 6 graphics which everybody's just seen but you weren't here. And get your views on them. If we can just get those graphics up, starting with the 12% swing.
While they come up, can I just draw attention
very
to
fast through.
Just as they come up, just draw attention to the pictures on the screen. That's live from BJP headquarters. Hanuman Chalisa is going on while they wait. Sorry, Pranoy, go ahead.
Okay. No. That's wonderful to know. Okay, let's quickly go through the graphics so that Yogendra can have a look at it, because there may be a hidden mandate in these graphics. Let's start with the swing away since 2019. We have actually seen, it's just going to take a minute. But bottom line is, the first point actually, Yogendra, is that there's been a 12% swing away from the NDA since 2019. In the period of 1 year, they've dropped 12%. And the Mahagathbandhan has gone up by that 12, almost 12, about 11.3%. So there's a huge change. And actually, here we are. So NDA down 12%, MGB up 11.3%, and even compared to 2019, you can see the vote differences. Let's move on to the next one. You know that 12% is a massive swing. Move on to the next graphic. If the machine is working fast enough, sorry, maybe I'm surprising the machine, poor thing. Okay. How is 220 different from 2015 even? The NDA down from 2015 also, and the Mahagathbandhan up 8, but this is not very fair because the alliances have changed. Let's move on to the next one. But still, bottom line, not good news for the NDA. Now, of course, in this election, what we found in Bihar, the swing away of -12 is worse than the swing away in Maharashtra even. So you can see this, from 2019, the BJP or the NDA has had a swing away in every state election, -8.7, -21, -21, -16, and now -12. An average swing away of -16 in the period of a year. If we just move on a little more. And this was the point we were making just now, which you probably saw, of how the LJP has cut into the JDU vote, because he only contested where the JDU was standing. So the JDU's got 43 seats, down 28, but if we do not have the LJP, they have no cutting in, the JDU would be the largest single party at 77, up 6. And last graphic, I can give you 20 more, but I'll stick with one more. We asked for which are the 20 seats which are less than 1,000 margin at the moment. And it turns out that 10 are MJB is leading with less than 1,000 votes. Just look at them. 33 votes, 193 votes. And they are Congress, RJD, CPI, etc. And then 10 seats with the NDA leading by less than 1,000 votes. I mean, you can see Siwan 37. These are really, really tiny. Of course, the counting is very slow. But all this tends to show that while the expectations have been compared with the exit polls, so it looks like the BJP hasn't done as badly as the exit polls suggested, but actually the -12% from 2019 is not something to be pleased about. It's a long-term worry, an underlying worry.
I completely agree, Dr. Roy. Increasingly in our television analysis, we allow the exit poll to frame our expectation, and much of our response about who's won or who's lost is with reference to what the exit poll said. But that is not how it should be. It should be with reference to what actually happened earlier. So there is no doubt that this is a big setback for BJP. There is no doubt that compared to 2019, it is unable to replicate. It could not do it in Maharashtra, could not do it in Haryana, although it formed the government. But there was nowhere close to repeating the performance. In Delhi, of course, it swung absolutely the other way around. So the idea that you win national election and replicate it in state election simply does not hold. And the initial period after 2014, where Mr. Modi's magic wand could win him anything, anywhere, that simply doesn't hold. That's absolutely true. One can see it as a mandate against the BJP NDA regime in Bihar. However, we cannot see it as a mandate in favor of Mahagathbandhan. That's the point I wanted to make, and that's why I would not call it a mandate.
Yes.
I think it is true that Tejasvi managed to create a certain hawa. He was very dynamic, worked very hard. He did raise unemployment as a concern, was articulated, but his solution of the magic 10 lakh jobs that he was to offer, that perhaps does not click. He did manage to bring out the dissatisfaction with Nitish regime, which has been brewing over the years, but he could not translate into Vishwas for himself. That's why, broadly one would say there is an outcome, but there is no mandate here.
Right. If he could...
Just one last point on that. He may be marginally highest in the number of seats, 75 to 74, but in terms of votes, RJD is by clearly the largest single party in the percentage vote so far. I think they're about 3% above even the BJP. Anyway, that's a separate point.
I mean, that may not be fair because RJD has contested more seats. RJD has contested 144 compared to only 110 for the BJP, 115 for others. But as you said, that's a minor point.
Correct.
Let's just go across to KC Tyagi.
That's a good point,
Let's go across to KC Tyagi. KC Tyagi ji, how are you looking at this super over in Bihar political league? Do you accept, KC Tyagi ji, that now, because you would keep saying that, listen, there is no anger against Nitish, everything's been fantastic, but look at how close it is, look at how many seats the JDU has lost. Surely this is not just coronavirus. कुछ ना कुछ तो something things have
डॉक्टर प्रणव राय ने जो अभी ग्राफिक्स दिखाई हैं
जी
बिल्कुल क्लियर है कि सिर्फ और सिर्फ हमें सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी होने से रोकने में एलजेपी का हाथ है। एलजेपी ने अपना बंगला तो जला ही लिया, उसमें कुछ खरोंच हम लोगों को भी आई हैं और ये बाकायदा एक सिस्टमेटिक तरीके से ये किया गया, क्योंकि जहाँ पर जेडीयू के बैकवर्ड कास्ट के वीकर सेक्शन के कैंडिडेट हैं, ये भी डॉक्टर प्रणव राय जी से मेरा रिक्वेस्ट होगा कि ये ग्राफिक्स और तैयार कराने में मैं इनकी मदद भी करूँगा। वहाँ पे उन कास्ट कैंडिडेट को रखा गया है जो एनडीए का वोट बेस है, उसमें से एक बड़ा हिस्सा वो निकाल लें जिसमें वो टेम्परेरी कामयाब भी हुए। अब इसमें बासु जी एक चीज़ और देखिए, 2 सीटें थी उनकी, वो दोनों हार गए और जहां से 3 लाख वोट से वो एमपी बने हैं, आगे के लिए सुन लीजिए आप भी, जहां से 3 लाख वोटों से एमपी बने हैं, एक भी सीट उनको नसीब नहीं हुई है। तो उन्होंने जो पॉलिटिकल हाराकीरी की है उसके आने वाले समय में नतीजे बहुत खराब होंगे। देखिए, रामविलास जी का बेटा होना अलग बात है, रामविलास जी का पॉलिटिकल हेयर अपैरेंट होना अलग बात है। रामविलास पासवान एक जमाने में काशीराम जी और मायावती से दलित सवालों को उठाने वाले देश के सबसे बड़े नेता थे और वो भी 2005 में जरूर उन्होंने लालू जी की सरकार नहीं बनने दी थी। तो ये 2005 नहीं है, उस समय कोई नरेंद्र मोदी भी नहीं था, उस समय टेस्टेड और ट्रस्टेड नीतीश कुमार भी नहीं था और अपनी क्रेडिबिलिटी के पीक पर थे उस समय रामविलास पासवान, जब उन्होंने 29 सीट ली और वो गोधरा के बाद इस्तीफा देकर के भी गए थे ये कह करके दैट आई एम द सेवियर ऑफ द माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी और मुस्लिम को मुख्यमंत्री बनाएंगे, ये भी उन्होंने कहा था। तो मैं कहना ये चाहता हूं कि ये 2020 साबित नहीं हुआ, ये चिराग पासवान के लिए वाटरलू साबित हुआ एंड इवन बैड डेज आर अहेड फॉर हिम। जब एक भी सीट जीतने में वो मुंगेर में नाकामयाब हो गई।
No, but sorry, Pranay,
No, go ahead.
But KC ji, ओके, अभी मैं इस डिबेट में नहीं पढ़ूंगा कि आपका सिर्फ डैमेज चिराग की वजह से हुआ और वेदर इट इज ऑल्सो टू डू विद गवर्नेंस। मैं सिर्फ आपसे इस वक्त यही पूछना चाहूंगा कि इसकी वजह क्या है। आप इसमें बीजेपी को कहीं दोषी नहीं मानते हैं कि चिराग पासवान ने आपको इतना डैमेज किया? एक शब्द प्रधानमंत्री ने उनके खिलाफ नहीं कहा।
प्रधानमंत्री ने सासाराम की मीटिंग में कहा कि कुछ लोग गलतफहमी पैदा करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। एनडीए बिहार मीन्स लेड बाय नीतीश कुमार। अमित शाह जी ने कहा कि ये सीटें ज्यादा मांग रहा था, मेरे बस की देना नहीं है, छोड़ करके भाग गया। सुशील मोदी ने कहा कि प्रधानमंत्री के नाम का और फोटो का अगर इस्तेमाल किया तो हम आपको जो है चुनाव आयोग में ले जाएंगे, which he did not later on.
त्यागी जी,
तो बीजेपी से ज्यादा क्या कर सकते हैं? जी
त्यागी जी, we've known each other for maybe 30-40 years and you've always had very good insights. I just want to ask you one point. This election with only 43 seats and a minor partner, will Nitish Kumar still want to be chief minister?
That's why it is not the question of Nitish Kumar liking or disliking. This is the decision of the NDA led by BJP, JDU, HAM and VIP. On many occasions, the Prime Minister is on record on saying, the party president Mr. Nadda is on record on saying, if we will the election, Nitish Kumar will be the chief minister. तो उस कमिटमेंट से हम पीछे कैसे जा सकते?
But what about honorable? Is it honorable that with only 43 out of 243 seats you become chief minister? Will he have some doubts about it and think, you know, this is the wrong thing to do, or he'll just go ahead? What do you feel?
मैं डॉक्टर पुण्यराज जनता दल में था जब हमने अकेली वोट होने के आधार पर आई के गुजराल को प्रधानमंत्री बनाया था। उनका जनता दल यूनाइटेड में उस समय जनता दल था लेड बाय एस.डी. देवेगौड़ा एंड रामकृष्ण हेगड़े, देयर वाज नॉट इवन ए सिंगल एमपी टू सपोर्ट हिम एंड ही बिकेम द प्राइम मिनिस्टर।
He was a good prime minister. He was a good prime minister. Yes.
Of course, very good prime minister.
No, but त्यागी जी, जो प्रणॉय
पूछ रहे हैं, so the answer is clear, I think, Vasu, na?
No, I'm okay. All right. I felt,
no, go ahead. I think if you want to get the exact words.
No, I'm just trying to ask you, त्यागी जी, that आप कह रहे हैं कि NDA ने declare कर दिया. The fact is, in 2015, Nitish was 10 less than RJD. तो 10 सीट कम से वो CM बने और वो उनके गले नहीं उतरा. He was not happy. He walked out of that alliance. Here the gap will be close to almost 20-25 seats. वो
देखिए उस समय भी
इस बात को सह पाएंगे?
उस मीटिंग
सीएम तो बन जाएंगे, बट विल ही बी एबल टू, गले उतरेगा उनके?
बासु जी, उस मीटिंग में मैं मौजूद था जो मुलायम सिंह यादव जी के घर पे हो रही थी। उसमें लालू जी थे, शरद यादव जी थे, मुलायम सिंह जी थे, नीतीश जी थे और मैं भी था। नीतीश जी चले आते हैं नाराज होकर के कि ठीक है मैं चला जाता हूं। उसके बाद शरद जी का फोन आता, लालू जी का और मुलायम सिंह जी का, कि भाई आप बात करो नीतीश कुमार से, ही विल बी द लीडर ऑफ द अलायंस। तो जब वो चुनाव में गए हैं नीतीश कुमार जी, तब लालू जी ने खुद हाथ पकड़ करके कहा था दैट ही विल बी अवर लीडर। अब वो कैसे अलग हुए, क्यों हुए, दैट इज अनदर मैटर।
ओके।
One last thing on this, forget the numbers, not only the numbers 43 and honorability, he has actually ideological differences with the BJP. Article 370, he's been vocal about it, communal aspects, he's a non-communal person. Now, is there any chance, this is a ridiculous question, any chance of him tying up with the other side and forming a government?
नहीं डॉक्टर पुण्यराज जी, दिस इज बी अनइथिकल,
वो नहीं होगा,
इट विल बी बिट्रेयल। नो, नॉट एट ऑल, नॉट एट ऑल।
या ओके, आई थिंक दैट्स अ वेरी क्लियर एंड करेक्ट आंसर। करेक्ट, had to ask it.
Pranay, interestingly, in this time, the NDA seems to have pulled away a bit now. So going
Yes,
back and
yes, yes, yes.
pulled away. They're at
They'll be back and
124,
forth, back and forth, yeah.
MJP 1112, 1111. So NDA is slowly now pulling away. But Arvind Gunasekar is joining us from BJP headquarters. Arvind, BJP is they moving towards celebration, pulling back, moving forward. What is going on?
Yeah, also in fact around 5 p.m. we saw a huge crowd of BJP workers from the national capital had gathered at the BJP headquarters waiting for the senior leaders. But few minutes back we saw senior leader, National General Secretary of BJP, that is Arun Singh, addressing the gathering here. In fact, in his speech he has done exceedingly well in the bypolls, and on regarding Bihar, he told the gathering saying that they have to wait for a few more hours to get a clear picture regarding Bihar, and that's why what we are seeing now is that in fact it's an empty, it's a deserted headquarters here. In fact, most of the workers who are gathered here, they have already left. Though some of the senior leaders are still inside, they are doing their manipulation, they are doing their discussion, deliberation, etc. or not. But as of this moment, gathering the crowds, the BJP workers have already left. So as of this moment, not much happening in the BJP headquarters here.
Okay, not much happening, but very loud music. So that's that's almost.
I mean, Vasu, I think we are so tense. Can you imagine the people actually participating? They must be going nuts.
Yeah. But now, again, just look at this. 126 NDA, 110 MGB. Suddenly, the NDA is pulling ahead, but we'll have to see how it plays out. Pawan Khera is also here of the Congress, is with us. We have Nawal Kishorji as well. Deshratan Nigam also here. Sorry to keep all of you waiting. But just first, very quickly, Dorab, again, this gap, it is all just very fluid, right? I mean, this is still one of those situations where it can keep changing, or?
I think it's fluid. It's been between now 120 and 135. But I'd like to say one thing. I don't know who's winning. But in case the BJP doesn't win, the guy who suggested that LJP put up candidates against JDU will be shot. That's for sure. Because he'll have cost them the election. I mean, this was a great idea. But if it doesn't work, it'll be a problem. Because this, it is the LJPs taking the vote from the JDU that is making all the difference. It fails to make the difference, it'll be a problem. And by the way, that party at the BJP headquarters, it looks like a Mr. Trump's super spreader event. No masks. Nobody has masks. Everybody's singing. Delhi is on the top of the corona list. So I don't think it's a very good idea to be singing at a time like this when Delhi is right at the top of the corona list.
Okay.
Vasu, we have Bam Bam Alok ready to just with a mask. I think that's one of the most classic moments in election coverage. Yeah. Give us an update of what's happening around you.
Well, Dr. Roy, we still have quite a sizable crowd over here, and it's quite a mela, for the want of another word, because to one side you have all of these ice cream stalls here, and to the other side you have a lot of RJD workers and supporters cheering and clapping each time a media person takes one or two of them on air. And then you have this gate here, which is the entry gate to Lalu and Tejasvi Yadav's residence. And all of the people here are RJD supporters who are still here. For instance, this gentleman who has been here since morning with this framed picture of Tejasvi Yadav and a bouquet. कब से आप यहाँ? आपका क्या नाम है?
मेरा लालू यादव नाम है, मैं गोपालगंज डिस्ट्रिक्ट से।
आपका नाम लालू यादव?
जी जी, लालू यादव।
लालू यादव जी। ललितेश वेश नहीं, लालू ही है?
जी, लालू यादव।
लालू ही। और गोपालगंज से भी?
जी जी।
कब से हैं आप यहाँ?
सुबह 6 बजे से।
6 बजे से। अब क्या उम्मीद लग रही है? देखिए, जो लेटेस्ट पोल्स जो हम देख रहे हैं उसमें अब 126, 110, 125, 111 हो रहा है। तो वो जो लीड है एनडीए की, उस मतलब पिछले 4-5 घंटे में थोड़ी सी आगे ही है। तो अब आपको क्या उम्मीद है कि अब ये सर्ज लास्ट में जो वोट्स काउंट हो रहे हैं उससे आप लोग आगे बढ़ पाएंगे कि अब रिजल्ट?
बिल्कुल, अभी अंतिम परिणाम नहीं आया है। बिल्कुल हम लोग आगे बढ़ेंगे, सरकार बनेगी महागठबंधन की, तेजस्वी यादव मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे।
आपको ऐसा लग रहा है?
जी बिल्कुल।
अरे अभी तो
नाम बताइए।
सरकार बनाएंगे।
नाम तो बताइए।
नाम कुंदन कुमार भारती है मेरा।
कहाँ से हो कुंदन?
पटेल नगर से।
यहीं से हो?
हाँ यहीं से, पटना
मास्क
से।
नहीं पहने?
क्या मास्क है?
पहनो।
अभी पहन लेते हैं।
आप बताओ क्या बोल रहे हो?
बोलिए। पूर्ण बहुमत से सरकार बना रहे हैं हम लोग। अभी लीड में हमारा पार्टी, और अभी तो जलाभिषेक बाकी है। अभी तो पूरा रात बाकी है, पूरा रात जलाभिषेक होगा।
2 घंटे में हो जाएगी? पूरी रात कैसे बाकी? हमारी तो ना खराब।
पूरा रात जलाभिषेक करेंगे यहाँ पे। 6 बजे से हम लोग भी है सुबह। सब भाई को देखे, सब भाई हम लोग सुबह से ही हैं। सुबह से ही एकदम पूरा जलाभिषेक।
लेकिन ये जो लीड है देखो एनडीए, ये तो बरकरार है पिछले 2-3
नहीं, अभी तो आज तक पे पूरा एकदम दिखा रहा है। अभी लीड में एकदम 2-3 सीट से आगे पीछे ऐसा हो रहा है अभी, और प्लस में भी चल रहा है 4-5 सीट से। तो अभी कुछ कहा नहीं जा सकता है। और हमारे मनोज झा जी भी बोले हैं कि अभी हम लोग पूर्ण बहुमत से सरकार बनाएंगे। तो अभी थोड़े देर में हम लोग सरकार बनाएंगे और जश्न मनेगा यहाँ पे।
ठीक है, आज तक भी देखा करो एनडीटीवी।
हाँ, एनडीटीवी तो मेरा फेवरेट है।
ठीक है, थैंक यू। जल्दी से बोलिए।
हम लोग तेजस्वी जी मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे। गरीबों लोग का दुआ है, बेरोजगारों का दुआ है, और लगेगा।
अभी भी आपको लग रहा है कि
दम लगेगा
जब तक
तेजस्वी मुख्यमंत्री। मोदी मीडिया आप नहीं ना है?
नहीं, हम तो आपसे पूछ रहे हैं सर, हमको आपका ओपिनियन जानना चाहिए। जी। मैं फिर आता हूँ आपके पास। So I think all of these people, ardent RJD supporters, all of them insisting that they still believe, and of course votes are still being counted. So one does wait to see how the situation will pan out. But quite a crowd here outside Tejasvi Yadav. 2 minutes. So quite a crowd outside here at Tejasvi Yadav's house.
Okay.
Are they still optimistic? Is there tension? Are they worried? Is there been a change in mood over the last 10 hours?
It's been quite a seesaw, Dr. Roy. I mean, initially, of course, it was very enthusiastic. Then things got a little subdued. And then in the last 2 or 3 years, you've had a situation where at least I've been looking at ndtv.com and Aajtak, and I've seen that on both websites, there has been a situation where it's been a very tense battle. So the moods here, a lot of people have been here. Manoj Jha has been coming out every 15-20 minutes, speaking to them. A lot of cheering, clapping. So that's how it's been, and it's still that way. But one waits to see how this progresses further. But there's no let up in the crowd here. Quite a large amount of crowd here right now at Tejasvi Yadav's house.
And not a word from Tejasvi.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Thanks. We'll be coming back to you soon. Lovely to be out there, Vasu, rather than stuck in our studios. But
yeah, what fun. But anyway, we must soldier on. Yes, Yogendra.
I think Yogendra has a point. Yogendra wants to make a point. Go ahead, yeah.
I just wanted to make 2 points. So one is that the race is still very much open because we have only about 70 seats declared so far. And in that they're tied. It's 34 to 33. The entire difference that we see, difference of 16, is in the leads. In the leads, there is a gap of 15.
Sorry, say again?
In the win, there is virtually no gap. That's one. And the second point is that while there is no mandate, in terms of the larger lessons, I think there are very clear lessons. While the mandate is uncertain, the lessons are quite clear. The lesson for the BJP is Ram Mandir, 370, and Sushant Singh Rajput and such things don't work. The message for the opposition is BJP's failures are necessary but not sufficient for them to perform. They have to produce something positive.
Well put, yeah. You just can't be negative about everything, yeah. You have to give an alternative, aspirational package, and it has to be realistic, yes. Quite true.
But Pawan Khera, just look at how close it is. But again, just coming back to the Congress, you also were in Bihar, by the way. Anything that you look back and say, just leading in 20 out of 70, what was there a mistake that you would say, 1 or 2 big mistakes you made, you look back and think would have done otherwise?
Vasu, that will come later, analysis, seat by seat analysis. But having said that, since morning I've been hearing this, Congress ने 70 सीटें क्यों ले ली? Shekhar also tweeted, RJD would be wondering why did they give so much to the Congress. Please analyze those 70 seats. Analyze the previous election results of those 70 seats. They are hardcore BJP NDA seats. Someone had to fight. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम छीन कर ले आए कि हमें लड़ना है, इसी पे लड़ना है. These were आपस में बैठकर बात होती है. Someone has to fight. Of course, we were brave enough to fight. You can't say Congress pulled down the entire Mahagathbandhan. It's absolutely incorrect if you look at the data of these seats of the previous elections. And then you'll realize what we were up against. And we are very happy that we were brave enough to say that, yes, we'll fight. For us, it's not which seat, how many seats.
No, actually,
the issue is
actually,
we had to
that is a very good point.
I mean, issues.
It's a very good point. One should just not look just at strike rate. No, let me just finish. I'm trying to amplify on what you're saying. Strike rate for seats which had a high margin of victory last time are very different to a strike rate which were very narrow and non-safe seats. So one must look at the strike rate in the context of how difficult each seat is to win and to win back. Yeah, it's a good point, and we will do that data. We will check, and it may come out worse still, but we will check. We will check. But it is a good point.
That's a different debate altogether. But that, just
but if you fought seats where they won by a huge margin last time,
Congress ko zyada seatein de di, it's a bit unfair towards the Congress.
No, but
therefore, I wanted to highlight the tweet of Shekhar especially.
But let me challenge you.
Please look at the data first.
Shekhar is never wrong. Remember this, Shekhar is never wrong.
But Pawan Khera, let me challenge you on that. When you say these are hardcore seats of A or B party, why are they hardcore? One of the reasons is because the Congress has been MIA, missing in action across the Hindi belt, particularly in states like Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, for years. That's what has allowed the BJP and other parties to grow.
Well,
you can't come at the last minute and then hope to turn things around.
I'll take this healthy criticism of the Congress party where we deserve to be criticized, fair enough. But some of these seats are also absolutely difficult for the RJD. So they are not missing in action. It's not just RJD or Congress, our cadre versus their cadre. It's not that at all. These are seats which are absolutely pro-NDA, full stop. Doesn't mean that we don't need to pull up our socks. We do. It doesn't mean that we don't need to work on our cadre building. Definitely we do. What we are happy about is that we are not compromising on the fundamental issues on which we do our politics. That's sacrosanct for us. That remains and that will remain.
Okay. Shekhar, do you want to come in?
Well, I mean, I can't ask, we can't expect, we can't demand that Pawan Khera make a confession on live TV. But somebody would have fought those seats, and if the Congress had fought 40 or 50 instead of 70 and focused there and put all its resources there, ultimately the difference, if at all, will be 5 or 6 seats this way or that. And there is a track record of this. It's not just one. I don't say things contrary to what Pranay thinks. I don't say things without thinking. Pranay says believes I speak without thinking. Look at Maharashtra.
No, I don't believe.
I know you do. 147 seats to contest. You won 44. That is 30% success rate. You gave 121 to NCP. They won 54 seats, 45% success rate. Look at UP in 2017. You contested 114 seats. You won 7 seats, that is 6%, I'm being generous, 5.5% strike rate. Whereas Akhilesh, who contested 311, okay, he didn't do brilliantly, but he won 47 seats. 15% is a little bit better than 5%. So why doesn't the Congress come at these alliances with a sense of humility? In Uttar Pradesh in that election, every time you saw those hoardings, equal size pictures of Akhilesh and Rahul Gandhi, it looked like you were asking for votes for both of them. You were not asking for votes for both of them. If you had the humility to ask for votes for Akhilesh and saying we are his junior allies, and Akhilesh said, in this seat, this Congress candidate is my candidate, please vote for him or her, you might have had a better chance. The fact is that you are now like a boxer who insists on punching above his weight and gets its partner beaten up instead. Whereas when you were more humble, say in Jharkhand, you did better.
Okay. Also, just to add
you
to that,
contested.
Can I just add one thing to that? Can I just add one thing to that?
So that is 50%. But see, you gave 43 to JMM, and JMM won 32 out of that, and you got a government.
Yeah.
Can I just add something to that?
Yes.
Pawan Khera, yes, you make a point that you just don't look at strike rate. It depends on the margin of victory, whether you got a whole lot of very safe seats for the other side and you had to overcome huge margins, or you got very marginal seats which were easier to overcome. We will study that. But in the meanwhile, there's something which is actually worrying for the Congress. If you look at the swing in favor of Tejashwi or the RJD, it's plus 8%. And if you look at the swing in favor of the Congress, it's plus 2%. 1/4 the swing in favor of Tejashwi. And that has got nothing to do with margins or safe seats or strike rate. So really, there is an element of worry that Congress did not really do as well with just 2% swing in its favor compared to 8% for Tejashwi. So, yeah. And we will still study the margins and see whether the strike rate's right.
Also, just to quickly add to that, we also have to go to Deshratan Nigam. Yeah. Also, just to quickly add to that.
Graphic.
Right. Congress wiped out in Maharashtra, I beg your pardon, in Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Karnataka, all the by-elections. BJP is more or less swept. But, so there's that as well. But Deshratan Nigam, now, how would you look at, these numbers? Again, it's still tight. Of course, NDA now seems to be inching ahead. But this idea that the BJP does very well in the Lok Sabha falters somewhat in the assembly elections. It's either very tight or you've even been losing. Is that something the BJP needs to worry about?
See, the results are showing a pan-India sentiment for BJP, that they are doing well. And now look at the strike rate in Bihar. About 80% is their strike rate. I think it's about 75, 76 seats they have out of 110 they contested. So the lessons for BJP are fantastic. And what they are doing is something good, that their strategy is paying off. Yes, as I said in the morning on your channel, that BJP requires a fresh, dynamic face in Bihar. And that is where I think the BJP is little difficulty is there. They have selected new team out there, and there are some capable young leaders out there, and in due course of time they will develop. At the same time, let me tell you, the young leaders like Chirag Paswan.
Just one second. I'm going to say, take up your words and say a terrible thing. You found a dynamic, new, young face. Did you mean Chirag Paswan?
No, I was coming to that. You interrupted me. I was saying when you have a young leader Chirag Paswan, who is over-ambitious, then he destroys himself and also destroys the others also. So these young leaders need to have a lot of patience with them, because politics is a long race.
Right.
You can't have sudden gains. And when you are going for sudden gains, you harm yourself and others also. And that is exactly what has happened today. And BJP is certainly doing better. 75, 76 seats out of 110 is something. 80% strike rate is, I think it's a dream for...
It's not 80%, Desh, it's 67%.
No. How many seats are they showing to BJP right now?
73 out of 110.
73 out of 110, then it is not 65.
No, 67.
It is about 77. No, it has to be about 77%.
73 divided by 110.
I think Vasu's right, actually.
It's 67%. I just did it again. 67%.
It's been long time.
Listen, it's still a great strike rate. It's just not 80%.
Yes.
So
yes. I'm so sorry. because there was little confusion in my mind.
That's fine.
You're right. You are right. You are right. It's about 67%, which is fantastic.
To be corrected in maths by Vasu.
No,
I mean, you can be corrected in history, sociology.
That's really the pits.
No,
that's terrible. But luckily, Desh and I went to the same college, so you know he knows.
Okay. So history department was better than physics. That's what you're saying.
No, I was English honors. Right. We were the worst when it comes to numbers. English honors are the worst.
I used to be in English honors half the time.
So, we won't ask why.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, you should not. You should not.
No, but you make good points actually, Deshratan.
Yeah, so the fact is, I think the young leadership, whether it is Tejasvi or Chirag Paswan, or for that matter, Aditya Thackeray and all, we need to have a lot of patience. It's a long race, and in the process of over-ambition, you might, destroy others and as well yourself. Right. And look at where LJP is today. Not even a single seat they are getting. So they have already, dug their own grave out there.
Okay, we have to take a break. We'll just take a short break and we'll just come back. मैं माफी चाहता हूँ आपके साथ हम पहले नहीं आ पाए.
Nothing to complain.
No, I am sorry about that. We should have come to you much earlier. Very, very sorry.
No problem. लेकिन मैं तो सिर्फ 2-3 बात बोलना चाह रहा था बीच में. कई लोगों से आपने बात की, तो अगर मेरे भी कुछ ओपिनियन ले लेते तो वो कंप्लीट हो जाता. जब त्यागी जी बोल रहे थे कि नीतीश कुमार चेहरा है और उनको चेहरा माना गया है कई बार, महागठबंधन में जब 2015 में भी उनको माना गया था तो उसका बेसिस था कि उनके पास उतने सीट थे. इस बार भी भाजपा ने उनको चेहरा माना तो उनके पास 71 सीट थे. अब जो वो चेहरा बने रहेंगे तो कम सीट वाले होंगे. एक चीज तो आप मानेंगे ना कि महागठबंधन का जो चेहरा तय किया था वो नीतीश कुमार की तुलना में आगे है. ये तो पूरा बिहार की जनता ने बताया ना. नरेंद्र मोदी के कहने के बावजूद नीतीश कुमार जी उतना नीचे चले गए, और जिसका कारण आप और केसी त्यागी जी कह रहे हैं कि चिराग पासवान ने कह दिया. इसका मतलब चिराग पासवान जी का बात बिहार में नरेंद्र मोदी से लोग ज्यादा मानते हैं. पूरा भाजपा के नेता, अध्यक्ष, सारे नेता 30 हेलीकॉप्टर दौड़ते रहे, उसके बावजूद भी लोगों ने नहीं माना कि ये चेहरा है.
अच्छा, नहीं जी, गिनती नहीं, वो पॉइंट है, वो दैट इज ऑल्सो पॉइंट. बट गिनती के बारे में बताइए कि आरजेडी जो आरोप लगा रही है, क्या किस आधार पे?
देखिए, उसमें आधार ये है कि कई सीटों पे जो हमारे कैंडिडेट जीते हैं उनको वो लोग सर्टिफिकेट देने में विलंब कर रहे हैं. कई सारे सीटें हैं जिनका उन्होंने नाम गिनाया. मेरे पास अभी डिटेल नहीं है, नहीं तो मैं भी आपको बता देता. एक जहां से मुझे फोन आया, वहां अमनौर था, जहां पर कि वो कैंडिडेट हमारा 300 से ज्यादा वोट से जीत गया था. उसको सर्टिफिकेट देने में विलंब बढ़ा था, फिर बोला कि नहीं, फिर से ये वोट काउंट करेंगे. तो ये कंप्लेन इसलिए था कि अगर मान लीजिए कि एक कांटे की टक्कर आप दिखा रहे हैं, जो कि एक्चुअल में दिख भी रहा है. हालांकि हमें अभी भी विश्वास है कि जो फाइनल टैली आएगा उसमें महागठबंधन की सरकार बनेगी, क्योंकि यह जन की आवाज थी चुनाव के दौरान, अभियान के दौरान. और ये अभी चूंकि पूरा रिजल्ट नहीं आया है, पूरा रिजल्ट जब आएगा तो हमें अभी भी भरोसा है, और मैं दावे के साथ कह सकता हूँ कि सरकार जब भी बनेगी तो
आप ही की बनेगी. ओके, Manish, this business of the RJD now talking about pressure being brought to bear on poll officers and all that. I mean, is there any, what are you hearing at all? Is there any basis to that, or?
Yes, in the last half an hour or in last an hour or so, lot of seats in favor of NDA has gone by a margin of 16 votes, 560 votes. So now RJD is alleging that there is some kind of pressure on the local administration, and they are under some kind of pressure from the chief minister's residence. They are trying to change the results in favor of them. But right now, Vasu, what I can see here, what I can feel here, that we can call the elections in favor of NDA. It seems that even though Nitish Kumar's party will be the number 3 party in this election, that is also by and large confirmed, but he will be the next chief minister unless I get really wrong like all the exit pollsters, because the you can see for the last 2 hours the difference between MGB and NDA is something, it seems now highly unlikely that MGB will be able to recover or just overcome that.
Right.
Vasu.
Okay. Manish Kumar, you're calling the election? But,
I think
that's a risky business. You know, look at what has happened in America where the media tried to call the election.
Yes,
but you're right. You're right, Manish, to the extent that the gap is now 14 seats. They do seem to be pulling away. Whether that solidifies, we'll have to wait and see. But it's still quite exciting and still quite interesting. Just take a short break and come back with much more.